Welcome back to In Ohio Country today. Big Dan Wilson alongside of Ted Gregg. And Ted is the Northern Ohio sales manager for Anderson Equipment. We're at a hay clinic here at Apple Farm Service in beautiful Botkins, Ohio. And Ted, let's talk a little bit about your background before we get started and talk about this incredible equipment that you have. You grew up on a farm and you have your hands basically greased from your background with equipment as well, right?
Yeah, I grew up on a farm, southern Michigan, south of Battle Creek, and worked in a dealership in northeastern Indiana for a long time, right through college.
Let's talk about the farm operation that you grew up on.
I was relatively small because we did most of our day job was pulling wrenches and setting up equipment and adjusting equipment and servicing and such.
So you really know your way around the Anderson brand and the equipment that you're talking about today here at the Hay Clinic. Let's talk about some of these products that you're showing off today.
Well, yes. Thanks first to Apple for sponsoring this Hay Day clinic we did. Our primary concern was talking about the baleage aspect, making silage in a bale, which is Anderson's forte. We wrap the bales that you see in the fields that put white plastic on them, both individual and the inline wrappers is our specialty. Anderson's unique in the fact that they use mechanical trip mechanisms over hydraulics, so it always works, it always makes hay, and whether or not the battery's good or other things are happening, it's going to get your hay preserved in that plastic wrap.
This isn't your grandpa's equipment anymore, is it?
No, we were talking earlier about the nice balers that Apple sells because they make a much better bale than Grandpa's baler ever thought of doing, in the high moisture bale or dry hay, either one. And then, of course, with the baleage, we wrap it. We do it with both the individual wrappers, and they start for the entry level up to the big custom operators. Or the machine behind us is the inline wrapper, does round or square bales. But then the bottleneck is moving bales. So we want to get the hay made, moved from the field to where we're going to store it and then feed it. So we have nice bale movers. We have tractor handled, so it'll pick up the bale in the field and transport it and unload it next to the barn. And everything from 10 to 20 bale movers.
Well, when we're talking about our farming community out there, obviously inputs and cost of doing business makes a huge difference to the bottom line. And it's this type of brand equipment, quality equipment that can really add to their bottom line and increase their profitability, don't you think?
I'm really glad you brought that up. No, a farmer's always in a catch-22. He's one of the few producers left in the United States that takes a seed and multiplies it many times. And then he turns around and doesn't always have control of what he's going to get at harvest. What he can control is his costs. He can also have great input on the quality of product he's putting in the barn for feed or on the market for sale. And we like to think we add value to the farmer, and also time's important. Time management's important. And with our products, you can get a lot done with fewer help and have a better product to feed your animals or to sell at the end of the day.
You know, part of that, too, is the return on our farmers' investment. They invest in a product like this. They're going to see that return in the savings as far as time and labor, but also cost. And, you know, let's talk a little bit about the durability. The Anderson name is something that means quality. And let's talk about how you can beat these things up and get a good bang for your buck, right?
Well, they've been making the wrappers for 30 years. Every year I get asked about providing the wear item is the stretcher that puts the plastic on the bale. And we sell replacement stretchers for those 25-year-old machines every year. They're still going, still producing, and providing for the owner. And on top of that, they're good trade-in value. So sometimes they do get them in, but they don't last long in the dealer's lots.
You know, let's talk about one of the products that's necessary to utilize this, and that's the plastic. It's one of the things that came up at the Hay Clinic today that our farmers should probably look at utilizing plastic that comes from North America. Can you talk a little bit about that and why?
Well, I'm not the plastic expert. However, what I do run into, and you mentioned plastic, is we strongly recommend the white plastic on the high moisture bales and even dry hay for when it's wrapped for storage. From Europe, they're introducing a black plastic. It's less money, but it absorbs sunlight. So it heats up more, and it's going to dry out the bale tremendously, and our company does not recommend anything but the white American or North American made plastic.
And one of the things that's most important too is the nutritional value after wrapping. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, when I get on my little soapbox is we're making silage in a bale. And to do that, we need a high moisture bale. The biggest thing I run into is everybody's used to making dry hay. And they don't feel they're doing it right unless they let it sit after mowing for a length of time. We're promoting currently same day baling and wrapping. So after the dew's off in the morning, to go out and cut your hay, ideally in about a 70% of the windrow you lay up of what cut it, and then let it dry for about 5 or 6 hours and bale it. Because we're making silage in a bale, it's going to be around 50% moisture at that time. And ideal is between 40 and 60. So you start baling at that time, and then we wrap it following the baler to preserve that. And the idea is it's going to heat up and ferment in that wrap. While if it was damp or too dry, it heats up and spoils and gets moldy. And we do not want that.
So one of the things that is also important when it comes to nutrition is the type of hay and the forages that are being used, that are being baled. This type of equipment will work on just about anything. I mean, that's probably, we don't really need to say that, but we should say that anyway, right?
Well, yeah, ideally it's a hay crop. So your clover, alfalfa, grass. We like the 50% moisture because there's a lot of sugar in there as well as nutrients. And we need the sugar, helps it ferment. So we're pickling this hay in a wrap. It's just it's hard to contain excitement about it because it's been a great tool for me to sell because there's a lot of educational value in it, and it's something that if the farmer uses the system correctly, he gets better milk quality with less feed. He gets a faster rate of growth or pound gained on his cattle with less input costs, less time invested. And it's just been a great experience for me to work with this company. And I'm thankful in their niche market. They're a leader in the industry.
One of the things, too, that is coming up based on the winter is what those forages will look like. Red clover, alfalfa could be affected by this past winter, and that means maybe not getting out into the fields, or when you're getting out in the fields, if you have a wet spring to get started, that could have a definite effect on what you're doing as far as cutting is concerned. But this equipment really has a unique footprint when it comes to getting in and out of the fields as far as the condition of the fields, right?
Oh, absolutely. And what we saw in the Louisville show this year, as most of you farmers will know, farm income is being stretched to the limit right now. It's been a struggle. We were very busy on the Anderson lot because of just what you're talking about. Guys had good quality hay that they never got made. So they're buying high-priced hay now because they couldn't get their own crop made. With the Anderson line of equipment, they're able to shorten that window of harvesting that hay from 3 days to same day. And so they're getting a better quality of hay made in a fraction of the time. So and that adds to the bottom line, adds to their back pocket.
Ted, you've got a great brochure here, but I'm sure you've got a great website. If our farming community wants more information, where do they go?
Well, you might get your middle school kid to help you. But we just got a new app you can add to your smartphone, which shows our nice Bailey's presentation on it and a wealth of information. At grpanderson.com is our website. And again, on it, there's a lot of tutorials, information about baleage, and we do have a lot of information about our product lines, sir. Yes, we do. Something I didn't mention, the full range of products, everybody knows us for our wrappers because we've been at it for going on 30 years. We have the bale movers, which I touched on. Anderson's also added to the line a bale processor, which will manage the brown bale to convert it into both feed or chew up straw for whatever, corn stalks for bedding, and distribute it across the barn with a blower. And then we also have our own line of TMRs, which start at 280 bushel and go up to the huge 500 or 800 bushel self-propelled jobs.
Wow.
And they are state-of-the-art.
That is pretty exciting. Well, once again, Ted, thanks for joining us. And if you want more information, also you can go to the Apple Farm Service website at applefarmservice.com. Ted, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you very much for having us.
And we'll be back with more in Ohio Country today, right after this.